I started receiving messages. You know how sometimes you get a text from an unknown number that just says, "Hi." I block them, but sooner or later that same hi pops up from another number, and I block that one. Well, this started out like that, only the first message wasn't hi. It was, "We are not dead." They claimed to be using a future technology to send messages back in time, a warning of the world to come. The Horror Eternal presents We Are Not Dead, Chapter 5, Drinking with Demons. The light flickered on and off the slimy surface of the Watcher's bulging head. It appeared to be sitting on the passenger seat of my car, body still wrapped in the sinewy mesh, but the waist and legs were bent to fit the seat. It was the first time I'd seen one in any position other than standing straight up like a stake. What was I supposed to do? Take it for a drive? It's like it was waiting for me to get off work. I stood upright and took several steps back from the car. There was no way I was getting in there with that thing. Then I remembered why I was there in the first place, my date with Kate. I turned and went back to the elevator, rode up to the lobby, where another one stood in the corner, and went out to the sidewalk. I opened the Lyft app and requested a pickup. The bar wasn't too far away. I made it right at our agreed meetup time of 5:30. I went inside and Kate was already seated at the bar, working on a fancy margarita decorated with umbrellas and cinnamon sticks. She looked like her picture, which was always a good start. Can't tell you how many don't. Kate had short black hair, almond eyes, thick eyebrows, and pouty lips. She was close to my height, very thin, but some modest curves where it counted. She had an exotic quality about her thanks to her Hispanic father and Asian mother. We shared a safe hug hello, and I saddled up next to her, describing the absurd scene I'd just left back in the parking garage. My eyes scanned the room as I spoke, always on the lookout for the creatures. There was a shoji screen in the middle of the room, and another in the back. I could see the rounded slope of Watcher heads poking out over the tops of the screens, hidden in plain sight. The gesture was appreciated. After cringing at my Watcher story, Kate started things off by apologizing for the break in our messaging chain on the dating app, explaining that she'd become involved with someone at the time, but it had ended several months ago. She'd only recently gone back on, so she was glad to hear from me. I told her it was okay. At the time, I'd just been looking around on the site and immediately got off, so I never saw that she didn't respond. It was the appearance of the Watchers that had stirred my desire for connection. She shifted her hips toward me, placed a hand on mine, and seized me with a penetrating stare. "Me too," she said. "They're like hideous reminders of our aloneness." "Yeah, and our vulnerability," I said. "Have you seen those fucking teeth?" We both laughed, an instinctive release quickly tamped down to nervous chuckles by the frightening truth. The first day I kept reading stories online, seeing the pictures people were posting, but I didn't see a single one, Kate explained. There just weren't any in my area. I thought it was like an internet hoax or a fake story. No shit. When was the first time you saw one? The next morning, yesterday. I got out of the shower and one was standing right there when I pulled open the shower curtain, out of fucking nowhere. "Well, that's terrifying," I said. I screamed so hard I slipped and fell back into the shower and banged the shit out of my head. Fucker was standing right in front of my towel, too. It was horrible. I couldn't settle down for hours. I had to run out to my girlfriend's apartment a few doors down. Thank God she didn't have one. I shook my head in disbelief. I don't know how long they think we can just go on living like nothing's happening, like these monsters aren't all around us, everywhere. Kate looked back over her shoulder at the shoji screen in the middle of the room. People are slowly coming unglued. Did you see they're already burning down Chicago? She took the last sip of her fancy cocktail and motioned to the bartender for another one and pointed to me, even though I'd only taken a few sips. "Hurry up, Buttercup, you're lagging," she said, a dangerous gleam in her eye. I immediately raised mine, cocked my head back, and guzzled it down. The text ended. I looked at the time, almost 4 a.m. Damn, the morning alarm was going to hit fast and hard. I slid under the covers and closed my eyes. Visions of the things I'd been reading played in the theater of my mind. The entire planet covered with watchers, planted like Lovecraftian cornfields as far as the eye could see. A new text arrived on my way into work. My eyes were heavy, but I raised the phone up to the top of the wheel and read as I drove. The story continued. The bar became sloppy, lost track of the drinks, talk got crazy, Armageddon through an alcohol prism, desperation, sweat, and laughter. We had to get out of there after Kate threw a full drink at the shoji screen in a fit of rage and defiance, knocking it over to reveal the watcher standing on the other side, its cold, lifeless eyes alive with that hideous blink. I followed Kate's lead as we walked around the streets for a while, looking for creatures and studying them at uncomfortably close proximities. She seemed particularly focused on the rows of sharp little dagger teeth, something I'd fixated on myself. "Demons!" Kate exclaimed. "Goddamn demons! And you know where demons live, right? Hell. So if there are demons all around us, that means we're in hell. This is hell, Buttercup. I'm sure every goddamn person on the planet has thought that at one time or another. You have, right?" "I'd be lying if I said otherwise," I agreed. "This just proves it," Kate said. She grabbed me hard at the back of the neck and pulled me in close, pushing her mouth onto mine, her tongue playfully invading with a demanding intensity, showing off for the creature that stood just 2 feet away from us, watching. Then she broke away, turning to the thing. "You like that, fish-face fucker? That what you came here to see? Yeah? Flip with your flippity fucking eyes? You want more? Of course you do." Kate grabbed the button on my pants and tugged at it, pulling it open. Then she dropped to her knees and began reaching inside. I tensed up, grabbed her hands. Whoa, what are you doing? There are people around." "Giving this Gila monster the show at once, Buttercup. What, you afraid? This is hell. Anything goes. Fuck it. God threw us out like the trash." Okay. I grabbed her by the arms and pulled her up. "Let's save that. Come on, let's get away from these things. A cup of coffee maybe. Sober us up a little." She turned and started walking down the street, raising her hands in the air. "Starbucks and their satanic logo. No thanks." I got off the freeway, read the text in the stops of stop-and-go traffic on the foot streets, finally lurched into the parking lot and continued reading as I got my truck assignment, did my safety check, and waited to head over to the warehouse. Once I had my load and hit the route, I continued sneaking a read here and there throughout the long shift, like drags on a cigarette, unable to put the story out of my mind long enough to concentrate on my task. We walked a couple blocks and I managed to get Kate to follow me into a Dunkin's. It was getting on about 8:30. We got 2 coffees. I excused myself to the bathroom and shot off an excuse to Sadie, blowing off our date for later with a promise to reschedule. Kate and I drank the coffees as we walked back to her car, and we drove to my place since, at least as of the morning, there were no uninvited guests there. As soon as we swung through the door, Kate's intensity returned, a manic desperation pulling me into the heart of a dying sun. I guided her to the bedroom, half carrying her with her lips against mine. We hit the bed sheets like a hurricane, ripping and tearing our clothes away. She pushed me down and climbed on top, demanding complete control. I gave myself fully to her whims, a vessel for anguished release, slave to despair in a stormy alcohol-fueled death ride. Somewhere between eyes pressed shut in carnal bliss and eyes wide open to absorb the beautiful fury of Kate's body writhing like a specter in the dark, the light reflecting off the mucousy membrane at the end of the bed faded into being, just as I'd seen it standing there the night before. Only now it was watching this mad coitus rodeo, some kind of otherworldly peeping Tom. Strangely, I wasn't moved to a start. I didn't jump up or react in any way, a testament to how dehumanizing the phenomenon was becoming. Likewise, Kate didn't outwardly react, but it was clear that at some point its presence had been felt by her as well. She climbed off, pulled me to the edge of the bed, and began going down, all the while watching the creature, performing for it, getting off on her exhibition. The words pressed into my skull once again, a distinct impression from the creature. Need more, over and over, like a mantra. Then she stood up, faced the Watcher and slid me inside, riding up and down as she stared back at the creature. She began to moan louder and louder, grinding harder, running her hands up from her thighs to her breasts. It ended with a burst of explosive moans, grunts, pumping and grinding. Kate rolled off beside me. I could see a faint reflection of light in her eyes as she stared back. I kissed her and we crawled up to the top of the bed. I wrapped my arms around her as she buried her face in my chest. As we drifted off, I stared at the silhouette of the Watcher in the corner. Another series of words echoed in my mind. Blood is kindness. My eyes opened to the light of morning, fixed on the exact spot they'd drifted off, the corner of the room. We were alone. The Watcher was gone. Or maybe he was always there, and we only perceived him at certain points in time. Or maybe frames of mind. Who knows? My eyes dropped down to meet Kate's. Her eyes were already open. Was it really here? I whispered, nodding to the corner of the room. Here? I don't remember seeing anything, she said. It's all kind of a blur. I kissed her forehead. Oh, right. Yeah. How do you feel? Oh, like I've been through an exorcism. She laughed. Cute, I said. I hope for your sake that means the demons are gone. She rubbed her face into my chest. Are you working? I have been, I said. Not many came in yesterday, but I feel like it's a piece of sanity I need to hold on to. You? Same, she said. Kate got up, started gathering her things. We made some small talk and she asked what I was doing after work. I told her I was supposed to meet a friend for dinner, but I'd let her know. She gave me a long, generous kiss, overflowing with appreciation, and went out. I immediately felt a nagging guilt that I'd instinctively made space for my rain check with Sadie. When I opened my phone to check what today's reality was going to be, I learned the exorcism had failed. The Watchers were still watching. I'd half hoped. Speaking of the creatures, the bizarre picture of the one waiting in my car the night before developed in my mind. I had no wheels. I ordered a lift and went down to the street. One rule, the driver said when I hopped in. No talking about those fucking monsters. One word and I'll throw you the fuck out in the middle of the goddamn freeway. Noted, I said. When I jumped out in front of the building, I stepped into the first available elevator and started up with a small group of blank-faced co-workers. Then I thought about my car. When we got to the top floor, I decided to stay in, and after the last stop, hit the garage button. I got out and walked towards my car, the fluorescent lamp still flickering. It was too far away in the back corner to see the interior from a distance. My eyes strained to interpret the shadows as I approached with all the tension of a horror movie. At about 10 feet, I could make out that the passenger seat was empty now, but something was out of place. At about 5 feet, I could see my passenger side door was wide open. I stepped around and looked inside. Nothing seemed out of place, no sign that it had been broken into. The door was simply unlocked, but there was a reflection on the seat, flickering with the stuttering light. I looked closer. It appeared to be a clear residue, like the mucousy substance that coated the creatures.
Monster Forge. We make monsters.